I've had a call from the president himself. I've already been offered positions in government, which I flatly rejected. I'm doing well. I'm feeling very safe. Well, first, in the height of the Gen Z demonstrations, I really had high expectations in the president in terms of how much change we were going to get as a country. When the president came on TV and said he will mobilize all security apparatus of the country and that these are criminals and anarchists, I was so disappointed. I did a video wearing a kaunda, speaking like the president, and saying this is the speech that we expected from a president. And that speech went viral. I got over 1 million views on TikTok. So I was surprised that the president actually did some of the things that I said in that speech. For example, I had talked about the resignation of the Inspector General because I knew the president has no powers to fire the Inspector General. But I also know that most of these independent officers, they usually are appointed with a resignation letter without a date. And then I knew that he will release his cabinet. What I didn't expect is the turnaround of events. I felt like he betrayed us and that he let us down because for 3 minutes we had change and suddenly we didn't have it anymore. We expected a trimmed down cabinet because he had a cabinet of 22 people, and we expected that probably he would have merged some ministries into others. For example, the Ministry of East Africa and Community Affairs, I would have expected to be merged into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I had the expectation that he would merge the Ministry of Environment with the Ministry of Water and Sanitation. I had the expectation that the State Department for ESALs will go back to the Treasury and Economic Planning. I expected that he would disband the Ministry of Public Service and just leave that work to the Public Service Commission, Judicial Service Commission, Parliamentary Service Commission, and Head of Civil Service. I was extremely disappointed beginning with the appointments that he made. The president has been disappointing me without end. He also promised that there will be no harambes for public servants. The next weekend, he was the one doing a harambe in church. So it got to a point where I came to the discovery that probably the president was very intentional on lying, and therefore it is good now to reveal the truth to Kenyans and show them that for every lie the president says, I will provide 3 truths. So I've been going to the projects that he has launched since he was deputy president, and I come bearing gifts. Actually, when I just walked into studio, you asked me how long I've been doing this, and I told you for a month. And after I've reviewed my records, I've realized it's not true. I've actually been doing this for only 2 weeks. I started on the 14th of August, and so far I've toured 24 projects countrywide.
And how many of them are unstarted or incomplete, or
they are a sham? I can mention some to you.
Go on.
I began with the Devki Kinani Road, which is 25 kilometers. It branches off Mombasa Road. This was allocated 1.78 billion in 2021. It was supposed to be completed by July 2024. We are way past that date. Already this contractor called China, it's a joint venture between JV China and Global Link. They have been certified to be paid 465 million. And already they've been paid 238 million out of that amount. If you see that road, it will move you to tears because the road is very dusty when it's dry and very muddy when it's wet. It's an unpassable road. And the governor of Machakos lives on that road.
What?
Yeah, it's shocking. When I went there was nothing that can justify an expenditure of 456 million. Nothing at all. It has not even been graded. It is just potholes and dust.
Yeah, the total amount is
The total amount was 1.78 billion. Already this contractor has been certified to be paid 456 million and has already received 238 million in his account.
Has there anything that has been done on it?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
The only thing that is there is maram and dust, and that maram is on a very small section of about a kilometer or 2 kilometers out of the 25 kilometers.
That's one.
Okay, one. What else?
Okay. I left there. I went to Olkejuado University. His Excellency President William Ruto, then the Deputy President, launched this in 2018 together with the governor of Kajiado. The Kajiado County government set aside 600 million for this project.
What was it
the
about?
Olkejuado University, the Olkejuado University College of Applied Technology. Now, to this date, nothing, absolutely nothing. In fact, let me shock you. Even the gate that was there on the day of the launch of the president,
It's no longer there.
it has been stolen.
Oh my God.
Even the fence has been stolen.
Emenda.
Even the name Deputy President William Ruto, the plaque,
Yeah.
has been stolen.
So this was supposed to be a whole new university.
This was supposed to be a university very beneficial to the people of Kajiado County.
Non-existent.
Non-existent.
'Cause
Nothing but
600 million.
grass.
What was it worth?
600 million.
M.
Already.
And you see, this is since 2018. We are now
Right.
in 2024.
Yeah.
We go to Ngong, where we had the Ngong Sports Complex. It was allocated 198 million. Already the contractor has been paid 50 million. And the only thing for 50 million is a perimeter wall.
Guy.
I moved from Ngong Sports Complex. I went to a road called Twala, Sholinke, Ngurunga, all the way to Kitengela Road. This is a road that was allocated money by the Kenya Roads Board under the road maintenance levy. Now remember, in just this previous financial year, we raised up to 62 billion Kenya shillings in road maintenance levy. Just as you go to the petrol station, as you pay for fuel, there is always an amount that is a levy on that fuel that you're buying,
Correct.
which is supposed to maintain our roads. The residents of Twala Sholinke have been contributing money trying to maintain their own road. Right now, I'm in their WhatsApp group. They've raised 400,000. Why should citizens pay road maintenance levy in their fuel and still form a WhatsApp group as if someone has died to start contributing to maintain their own road? And yet, if you go to the records, the road was allocated money for maintenance by the Kenya Rural Roads Authority.
Yeah.
I left that place. I went to Muranga County, Kigumo constituency. There's the Ikumbi Karinga Kagundu road that was part of Mau Mau Lot 2, allocated 6.4 billion. It has been launched twice. It was launched by the CS Macharia in 2019. But as though that was not enough, the president, William Ruto, came and launched it again on the 21st of July 2023. If you see the Ikumbi Karinga Kagundu road, that is a forgotten part of the world. The road is in terrible, extremely terrible condition in a highly agriculturally productive area where the road would have been of enormous benefit to the people of Muranga and Kigumo constituency. To date, since he launched it, that road has not been done. To disappoint you even further, on the day of the launch, Kenha paid a contractor 1.4 million for setting up a tent where the president will be standing and being told, "Hii barabara itatoka hapa, it will go through this place, to this place, to this place." That is how much we are burning money in launching projects. I have gone to Nyandarua County. There's a Captain Demi Wanjohi Kwamatu Geta Kahuruko Ndunyunjeru Road. President William Ruto has launched the road himself twice.
Himself.
Yeah, he himself. He launched it on the 26th of November 2018. He came again and launched it on the 6th of April 2023. Allocated 4.4 billion since 2018. To date, nothing. I went to Masinjeri Primary School in Nakuru County. Okay, Menengai constituency, where someone bought goalposts for 1 million bob.
Goalpost.
Yeah, for a school field. Goalposts. Each chuma to the square.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 million.
1 million. I left there. I went to Eldoret, Uasin Gishu. The Eldoret airstrip, someone has planted maize and wheat in the airstrip.
No.
And they're using a tractor of Kenya Prison Service.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This system is extremely rotten. There's corruption everywhere in every single government agency. There's corruption. There's even corruption in Kenya anti-corruption EACC.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
There is corruption in EACC. And the person who takes the biggest blame, number one, the people of Kenya, for permitting it. for being an accessory to a crime. You know, electing leaders who are not known for their integrity. Secondly, not keeping those leaders to account. Defending them when they steal. Saying that huyu ni mwizi lakini ni wetu.
Mwizi wetu.
This is our thief. The first people who take the blame are the people of Kenya. And that is why I've been committed to civic education. The second person that takes the blame, according to me, is the president. If President William Ruto was to decide today that he does not want corruption, and he himself stops being corrupt, Kenya will be saved. But as long as the president is corrupt, everybody in government will be corrupt. If the president stops being corrupt today, 50% of corruption in government will end. And I wonder, he's already a billionaire. You know, sometimes someone has to ask themselves, when is it enough?
That question was posed to him a while back.
Yeah.
At what point is your money enough? Because I've gone to his home in Kilgoris. I was there last week. Yeah, as I went to check something called Ildolisho Kenya Utalii College. Just next to his home, 2 kilometers from his home. His Kilgoris home. He launched Ildolisho Kenya Utalii College. Today, nothing. And the PS for tourism comes from that community. It comes from that village. That is his village. You go to the president's home in Kilgoris, his neighbor doesn't have last mile connectivity. And he has a 900-acre ranch, which he has even a private airstrip. Next to him, his neighbor, Uhuru Kenyatta, 1,000 acres. Samuel Ole Tunai, next door neighbor, 500 acres. And why can't they just do even just last mile connectivity for their neighbors? I was so disappointed when I also went to, Uasin Gishu. Recently, Eldoret was elevated to a city.
Correct.
And one of the most important things for a city is the water and sewerage system. There was a project there 7 years ago, funded by the Africa Development Bank. That project is called the Kipkaren Water Treatment Project. It's next to the airport, Eldoret Airport. There's Kipkaren Dam there, then there's Kipkaren Water Treatment. This was supposed to cost 1.185 billion. Now, because it was in dollars, I think by now it should be about 1.5 billion. The contractor has already been paid 767 million. This is 7 years ago.
Right.
This contractor has been paid 767 million. He has done very little, and then he has been fired. Now they will pop up from the rooftop of vehicles and say, sasa yule contractor, yule alikuwa ni mkora. Sasa tayari hapa, vile nitaleta contractor mwingine na nitatenga pesa. We should begin with the parable of the talents. What did you do with what I gave you before you ask for more? We gave this guy 767 million. We should see value for money before you fire him.
Yeah.
And why is this project taking 7 years? It was supposed to give 23 million liters into Eldoret town. Right now, you go to Eldoret Kapsoya, you go to Eldoret Pioneer Estate, Racecourse, you go to Langas, where Oscar Sudi comes from. There's water rationing in a whole city. They don't have water 7 days a week. And yet, this is public funds already spent and lost. Musalia Mudavadi is home in Mululu. There's a road called the Mago, Mululu, Wangulu, Lusui Vokoli Road. Launched by none other than the president on the 29th of August 2023. His own road is bad. So if Musalia's road is bad, how will yours be?
Yes.
It will definitely be worse. I went to Kisumu. There was a project by the Hungary Exim Bank. It was being funded by the Hungary Exim Bank. 2.5 billion. Kabonyo Kanyagwal Fisheries and Aquaculture Project. 2.5 billion, nothing but children playing. And an abandoned tombstone of a project that never was.
When was it launched?
It was launched on the in 2023.
A year later.
A year later, nothing. Not even a tractor is there.
And the money was delivered. It's our government coffers.
I could go on and on, but let me just tell you where I was yesterday.
Go ahead.
To bring you to context. Yesterday I was in Makueni. And in Makueni I went to a road called Kea Nunguni Road. Okay? This is a road which was allocated 362 billion Kenya shillings.
Billion or million?
Million, sorry.
Million, yes.
Yeah.
362 million shillings. Already, the contractor has been paid 255 million.
For mobilizing.
You should just see the video. I recorded for you a video
Yes.
of the road. These people have no conscience.
Zero.
No.
Hawajali.
And then they keep talking about this amorphous thing called pending bills. Pending bills, according to my investigation in just the 2 weeks that I've been on this business of public audit and accountability, is a way to loot public funds. Because I went to Thwake Dam at night. Yesterday night, I was at Thwake Dam. In fact, I came back to my home in Nairobi at about midnight because I was at Thwake Dam. Now, in Thwake Dam, the contractor was paid an extra 236 million Kenya shillings for late payment. I'm so sorry, Jeff. Tulikuchelewesha kukulipa. I'm going to add you 236 million.
Chukua hii juu yake.
That's how rich we are. In the same country where people are sleeping hungry. In the same country where kids cannot go to school. In the same country where we've made the youth of our country beggars in their own country. In the same country where the government is happy to export its most energetic part of the population to go and build foreign countries because they've created a corrupt system that has no opportunities.
And we can't even pay our teachers.
Yeah.
JSS teachers, you promise them that you've set aside 18.7 billion to pay them. Then you don't materialize. You are lying. Yeah? A JSS teacher right now is paid 20,000. When you do the deductions, he gets 17,000.
It's like a botch.
17,000, honestly, for these teachers to survive.
Qualified.
They have families, they have children, they need fare, they need to live, they need to eat. How is this teacher going to teach your child?
Never.
And they don't have enough capacity. Some teachers who know agriculture are being told to teach biology. We funza hata hiyo biology. It's the same thing. Yeah? Nakaribia na agriculture, biology, two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
Just teach it. What are we doing to our education system? And what is the game plan? In this same country where we have fake schools, recently they released 21.8 billion capitation for public institutions. In a system where we have fake schools or real schools with fake number of students. The amount of looting that is happening in this country, I can't look 100 meters around me and not see corruption. There's corruption everywhere. You don't even need to go far. That's why I've been telling Kenyans, don't wait for me to get to your village. Take this up. I can't do this alone. Walk to the nearest government project. If you don't have enough information about how much it was allocated, how much has been spent, team up with someone who has access to this information. It's available publicly. Inspect that project. Every person in Kenya, in the villages and in the city, whenever a contractor is working on a government project around you, be mindful that that is your money. You are an engineer and you can see a substandard road being built and you let it to be built paka inaisha. Why? You see, we as Kenyans, we are being lazy. We need to keep these people accountable because the institutions that are supposed to check government are not available for this job. They've been bought and compromised. Our parliament is now an appendage of the executive because they have even registered companies. They are doing business with government.
It's a rubber stamp.
They've insisted to have CDF, so now they are the ones keeping government to account, but they are still an appendage of the executive by also trying to execute some budget.
And if people come to you, Murara, and tell you, look, you don't have any proof of what you're saying, what do you tell them before you publish any of this material? What do you tell them?
I have developed a team of very well dedicated researchers. Before we say something, we know what we are talking about. And we are very factual. Because in this country where there's too much lies, you cannot fight lies with another lie. You can only be factual. And as the new leader of opposition, I'm ready to take up the task and make sure that I provide truth to the people and keep government to account and on its toes every day, every minute. I want to assure every government department that I'm up to the task.
When you speak like this, and it's very brave of you to do that, one of these days you're going to get a call from Ikulu saying, "Kuja tukunywe chai."
I'm raised very well by my mother, and I believe in God, and I cannot lie. I've already been offered positions in government, which I flatly rejected. I've had representatives from State House talk to me. I've had a call from the president himself. Yes.
Akasemaje?
No. Out of, you see,
my friend.
out of the amount of respect I have for the president, and also because what I spoke with him is in strict confidence, the much I can reveal is that I told him I'm not interested in being in government. The government has enough incompetent people, and the competent ones are not allowed to exercise their competence. You get into this government as a lawyer to provide legal advice, but you realize very quickly that your advice is not needed. They've already made a decision in terms of what they want to do, and you are only supposed to facilitate the fraud. I believe that I have a great future in this country. If not in politics, then in business. I may end up on the Forbes list. So I do not want to taint my reputation with money from government or state positions. I'm not excited with them. I'm not in a rush to acquire or primitively acquire wealth. I'm just fine as I am. I'm ready to go through the steps slowly by slowly to where I want to get. So I have rejected those offers.
You could also end up in Yala River, Murara, because these people don't care. Once you ukiguza pale ile mahali
gani
ile ukiguza,
yeah, sensitive nerves.
Yes.
The police are also human beings, and the police are also suffering in this same country where we are suffering. They don't buy unga cheaper, they don't pay less in fees. In fact, some of the information that I reveal to the public, some of it I get it from police officers. For example, when the Ministry of Interior lied to Kenyans that it has increased the salaries of police constables by 40%, it is the police officers themselves, some of very high ranking, that were calling me and even offering to send me their payslip to just have a look for myself. And I realized that the government didn't add them 40%, it was 13%, which was again subject to deductions. So these same police officers that do these atrocious crimes, some of them are still suffering in this country. I know that it is possible to be killed, that I know, or to be harmed. But you see, even Jesus only lived 33 years, but a very impactful life that left a change in the whole world that can never be forgotten. You don't have to live for long. You just have to live a short, impactful life. If you live long, it is the grace of God. But why live many but useless years? So I come from a family of politicians. My great-grandfather was the first senator of Kisii under the Majimbo system during independence, Senator John Kebaso. My grandfather, Honorable George Murara, was also assassinated by the government for demanding answers to the death of Tom Mboya. So I have knelt down on my knees and prayed to God and broken the generational curses so that what happened to the great-grandfather should not be visited on the new generation. I believe I still have a future, and I have much to get achieved. I just need to remain focused, accountable, and most importantly, I should not follow the steps of these people who lie and pilfer public funds with reckless abandon.
Are you going to continue what you're doing?
Oh yes, I'm going to continue what I'm doing. In fact, I have a very big task ahead of me. I can tell you the projects that I want to visit. I want to go to Nuno Modegashe Road. Nuno Modegashe Road is the road where a contractor was paid 82 million interest for late payment. Tumekuchelewesha, utakuongezea 82 million. Sawa sawa. He was also added 525 million out of nowhere. Hiyo yani walimuongeza tu. Ilikuwa ya kutoa. The same way you send somebody 1,000 bob.
Yeah.
Unamuongeza 30 bob ya kutoa.
Hiyo ni ya kutoa.
Walimuongeza 525 million. It's not a variation in the bill of quantities. It's not a change in design of the road. Nothing. It's not an extra bridge. 525 million.
Additional.
I'm supposed to go to Bogoria Silali Geothermal Project, where a public officer who is not yet in jail to date took 17.9 million public funds and put in his private account to earn fixed interest and money market fund.
Guy. And he's still walking free.
Yeah, of course, he's not in jail.
Mikel Dangote says, also tell him to go check what's happening in the 845 acres of land in Nasewa, Busia County, launched by Moses Kuria.
Yes.
845 acres.
In Western, I even need to visit the industrial park, the Sangalo Industrial Park in Kakamega also. Yeah, it's another scandal there.
Yeah.
I need to go to Ruringu Stadium in Nyeri, which was allocated 288 million. Already the contractor has been paid 260 million. That's basically 90%. And it's now 6 years. And there's nothing to see. By the way, let me tell you something. Yesterday when I was in Makueni, next to Water Stadium. Okay, let me begin with the Water Stadium. Water Stadium was allocated 299 million in 2017 January. Already the contractor has been paid 162.9 million. But just next to the Water Stadium, which has nothing,
Housing project.
It's not it's not world class.
Oh no, there's no track. It's a perimeter wall and some concrete on the track. Now, just next to that Water Stadium, and you see Water Stadium was launched by none other than President William Samoei Ruto. Just next to it, he's going there in a few days' time. He's going to launch affordable housing program.
Next to the stadium.
Let me ask you, Jeff, how affordable is the affordable housing program? A bed sitter in Kirinyaga housing program is 1.79 million. How many out of the 50 million Kenyans can afford a bed sitter for 1.79 million and in Kirinyaga? And why are they telling Kenyans that you will own a house on public land when we all know the law, Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act? Why are they telling Kenyans that you're going to own a house on public land? Now, that is not the story. Next to where they want to build affordable housing, they've cleared the bushes, the tractors are on site, is another affordable housing that was built. In 1989, the affordable housing began. It cost the government 2 billion Kenya shillings.
Then
89.
It has 203 houses. I was there yesterday. I'll show you the video. Blocks of flats, blocks and blocks, over 30 blocks of flats with houses. The PS Charles Hinga went there to see it. Instead of renovating those houses, which are already there, inhabited, it's snakes that live inside. Yeah, 203 houses. They costed 2 billion. Just next, they share a fence. They want to build here. Next door neighbor is another dead project. Why not renovate those houses? Why build new ones here? It is because there is an appetite for looting. Nobody in this government wants to do anything unless they are stealing.
Do we have like service providers who genuinely supply government with goods and services, yet they are amongst those who are never paid, despite the fact that
people are depressed? Some people have committed suicide. Some people have been auctioned by banks. Some people have, gotten lifestyle diseases that they never had. There are people in hospital beds because of being contractors to government. And this is what happens. You supply the government, you borrow the money from a bank, then government doesn't pay you because the money has been stolen or is in a private account somewhere earning interest. Now, when you're not paid, you start being auctioned, your interests go up, you start legal disputes with the government. You are auctioned because the bank is not patient. They're not going to wait for the determination of your court case. They're just going to take away the property that you used as collateral. Now you're here, you're being auctioned, the government is not paying you. Then when you go to those offices to be paid, do you know what you're told? Tunaweza kulipa. But if you can part with 40% of this money. We owe you 100 million. We can pay you. But can you commit to give us 40 million out of the 100 million? This is why every government project costs more than 10 times the value. Because whenever you want to supply anything to government, you have to budget for corruption. You have to think that, number one, you may not be paid. And it may take a while before you're paid. So you have to calculate the interest on your money for that period. Secondly, you have to know that you will pay an MCA or an MP or a senator to follow up on your pending bill for you to be paid.
Na kila mtu analipwa.
You have to oil the wheels everywhere. You have to pay money to get the tender. You have to pay money doing the tender. You have to pay money, some of your money, to get your money.